Callaway launched its newest version of the Apex iron, and there are some major differences from the last version that we've seen. So we've got Zach Oakley, product marketing manager, here to talk about these irons. I know this is an exciting time for Callaway. This is a big event to launch these irons. Let's talk about the process. What went into this, and what were some of the major differences that you wanted to see out of this version?
Yeah, well, it's been almost 3.5 years since we last saw Apex kind of in its call it, the form that we all know Apex to be. We had the Pro Series last year, but bringing out the new Apex Performance Series, and I think one of the things that we really wanted to do was kind of get back to the core of what this player needs, and really focus on what those needs are. And so those three things really boil down to kind of three different areas. One is elevated look and feel. Mm-hmm. We know that this player type is someone who's either coming from a player's iron and they're used to looking at something a certain way. They're very discerning. It feels a certain way. Mm-hmm. You've also got players on the other side that are coming from a game improvement product. Maybe they're earlier in their golfing journey. They want to kind of make that next step into something that's a little bit more premium and has that sort of tour aspirational look and feel. So we focused a lot on that. We also focused on this idea of kind of premier performance, where it's a little bit more nuanced than just like adding a bunch of ball speed and distance, right? We all know distance is important, but doing it in a way that is authentic to what this player wants, and adding the distance but having the look, the feel, all of those things coming together. And then lastly, spin consistency, because we know that this player also is looking to have some precision when it comes to the targets that they're going after, and so really making sure we honed in on that. So when we talk about the new Apex AI 200 and AI 300, one of the key differences is the construction. So in both the 200 and the 300, you're going to have a forged body and a forged face, which in this category, there's not a lot of irons that actually have both. A lot of them are forged face and then cast body. Reason a lot of some people do that is just it's a little bit easier to generate ball speed when you have a really stable back. Mm-hmm. So that was one of the challenges for us, was how do we get the forging, the feel that we want to, the sound that we want to hear, while also being able to produce a bunch of ball speed. So that leads us to the face, where we actually put in a forged 455 face, which is a thinner carpenter steel, really great at generating ball speed. And so we had the forged body, the forged face, and then lastly that spin consistency, because sometimes in this category you start getting these high COR faces that are really good at producing a bunch of ball speed, and you can get some flyers and some you see some low spin. So using our industry-leading AI technology, the AI Smart Face, which we brought out in the AI Smoke Woods earlier this year, and irons, we brought that into this line, so we're really seeing that consistent spin. So if you want to hit your 7 iron 170 yards, it's going to go 170, not 185. Sure.
One of the main things that stood out to me, one of the first things that you said, was the look. These all look pretty similar now, right? And that's one of the biggest changes from the last version, the Apex Pro. They all kind of looked different. What was the reasoning that you wanted these to all look similar?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So when we talk about Apex, it's really an aspirational product, right? And we look at what we brought out with the Pro Series. We have this new MIM weight technology back here, really good for dialing in swing weights. We see it out on the tour a lot. And so we really wanted to mimic that look, because we are trying to bring something to a player type that wants to have that same look that they have on tour, but in something that they can actually hit. And so that's one of the things. And obviously, it being the 10-year anniversary of Apex, we wanted something that kind of looked new and fresh. So kind of moved away from some of the traditional things that we've done on the last couple generations.
Hollow body, is that new as well in this version?
Yeah, so it is new in both versions, actually. We had kind of a cavity in both the DCB and Apex in 2021. We've moved to kind of a more streamlined, modern look here in the AI 200. And then in this one, although it does have a little bit of a cavity in there, does help us get some of that weight lower and deeper, going to give you a little bit more launch. It does kind of have, it is a hollow body construction. So you got both of those going on here.
And so I'm holding the AI 300. You mentioned the DCB from before. Is it fair to say that the AI 300 is essentially replacing the DCB?
Correct. Yeah. So the AI 300 will be that game improvement, replacement for DCB, and then the AI 200 is your core player's distance iron that will replace what was Apex 21.
Okay. There is a set sitting here in front of us that we haven't gotten to yet, and they stand out because they don't look the same. The all-new offering, TIE Fusion. This, from the looks of it, it just looks different. It feels different. Holding it too, everything about it is a big change. Before we get into what it does, what it is, why did you want to add this into the Apex family?
Yeah, so I previously mentioned that it was the 10-year anniversary of Apex, and Apex has been a brand that has meant a lot to us at Callaway, but we also know it means a lot to golfers. And so I think for us it was, hey, we want to do something special to kind of commemorate that. We also have a world-class R&D team in the back who's always innovating, always pushing disruption, and trying to do new things. And so they came to us with a concept a couple years ago, and credit to our CEO Chip Brewer, who really pushed us to kind of bring this out under the Apex family. And so that's why we brought out the new Apex TIE Fusion.
And so where does this fit within the family? We mentioned the kind of player that would play these, the AI 300 and 200, but where does this fit within that range?
Yeah, so typically when you have a product like this that's got a ton of performance, a ton of technology, really more of an advanced type of construction, that's kind of a concept type product, and you usually see those on a game improvement type of line. But this one's kind of unique because it is geared towards a slightly better player. I would say it sits closer to where the Apex Pro would sit, and really a little bit better player than maybe the AI 200. Though I think with the technologies in it, you could see some people that would be able to move up into this no problem.
Sure. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the technology. I think we've teased this plenty here to give people the actual meat on this. The titanium comes in the face, correct? And then we do have a forged steel body.
Yep.
That whole process and what that does for the club, why did you settle on that?
Yeah, so when we talk about TIE Fusion and why they selected the materials they did, I mean, a lot of it comes down to, it's a trade-off, right? You can have all steel, there's some different things that you get out of that, some drawbacks. Titanium is really lightweight, really, it's called, has a lower modulus, so it actually returns to its shape faster.
Okay.
So it gives us some weight savings. It allows us to really get a lot of ball speed and like heat map right across the face. So you're going to have bigger sweet spot. And then some of the other things you're going to see from it is the forged steel body. And so bringing those two materials together is actually a lot harder than it sounds. We had to go out and actually basically take methods from other industries and bring them into golf, which has not really been done in this type of way before. And so that was a real challenge, a fun challenge, but a real challenge for our R&D guys back there to bring this out. So
you mentioned the type of player where it might fit within the family. What was the goal with developing this? What are we looking at? Are we looking at more distance than the AI 200? More is there more MOI than the Pro? Where, in terms of technology and what it would do for us, where does that fall?
Yeah, so again, talking about the titanium and what that does. So it does provide us a ton of ball speed across the face. It's going to be, I'd say it's a more forgiving face just in the terms of the material. When you talk about it versus the AI 200, it's a little different because it's a bigger profile, the lofts are slightly different, right? But given who this is for, which is a slightly better player, you're going to see roughly, I'd say, close to the same distance. The other thing, so you get a lot of speed, but the other thing, and I think it was maybe an unintended consequence, but because of the modulus and all the things that titanium provides, it actually interacts with the urethane microspheres a lot more. And you also have the forged body. So the sound, I honestly couldn't even describe it to you. You're gonna have to go hit it. And all the viewers out there will need to try it because it's unlike anything I've ever seen or hit or heard. It's not clicky, it's not, it's like explosive softness, if I could try to put a term on it. But it's very responsive. And then lastly, the one of the real key things that we've seen in our testing is spin consistency. We're seeing spin consistency like a CB iron, which is not something you see in a hollow body sort of performance type iron. And a lot of that is attributed to the titanium.
10th anniversary of Apex. All new offerings in the Apex family from Callaway.